So most African countries don't produce anything. And instead of producing and processing, which is where the real money is, we have the largest natural resource in many of the African countries. But the Westerners have realized that these guys are not good at producing what they have. They are not good at processing. So they come, take your raw material, and then they go process, and they return to you, and then you buy. How can a nation like Nigeria not have one refinery? So I mean, sometimes I see that they say, oh, no, Dangote refinery will soap. I say, are these guys all right?
Why put your eggs in one basket?
One human being went to start refinery. All of you, the whole country, all the politicians since 1999, you couldn't revive the one that is existing. One man is building his own, and you are sitting and waiting for him. Are you guys okay? That is the narrative, because people are not ready to do what needs to be done. So yes, unfortunately, most African countries are consumer nations. Look at what has happened to the dollar now. People have been asking, what's that? I say, there is no way it won't be like that. You are not producing anything. The only thing you are producing and selling is the crude oil. When the dollar of the crude oil comes, you have to use it to pay for the processing of the crude oil. So you don't really have anything. And then you have to borrow money, and the money you borrow, half of it is stolen. There's nothing wrong in borrowing if you are borrowing for infrastructure development. But when you borrow and there's over-invoicing and there's inflation, you are just fooling yourself. Right now, just about a week or two ago, now our debt servicing has gone beyond our income. How can you do it? So most African countries are actually consumer nations. And it's unfortunate, but we can change that narrative by beginning to focus on Africa for Africans. If you look at nations that have developed, China, Singapore, one of the things they did was to close their economy to everybody else, in order to focus on themselves. And when they opened it up, they were exports. So we need to begin to think of all the different things we can do to export so that we can begin to earn. So African nations can become great if they begin to focus on production.
Tell us more about the Africa for Africa bit, because we have about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Africa for Africa, let's start from everybody buy Africa. That's all. If all of us, if we decide, if one policy, if the governor or the president comes today and say nobody in Nigeria or Africa must buy anything that is outside of Africa, all our cars, African cars, all our clothes, just say everybody wear native clothes, all banks, all schools, all lecturers, all civil servants, before you know it, the fashion industry will do. Do you know there was a time in this country where they don't play Nigerian music on radio, on TV? You have to beg. I remember those times in the late 90s, early 2000s, they will have to go and be begging for them to play Nigerian music. Today now, Nigerian music is everywhere. These guys in the music industry, movie industry, comedy, by the sheer doggedness of individuals, they have built an industry that we are now trying to lay claim that is our industry. But people built it. And that shows you the potential that is there if the government of Africa can back sports, music, entertainment in general, technology, and then farming.
Afrocentric. In that vein, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, wealth agent, life coach, it's been an honor to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.